Kash Patel has been bungling every investigation, and partly because he thinks he's going to be famous by tweeting about it. But that's led to a series of disasters where he humiliates himself. Fun for everyone. Anna, tell us about it.
It's not fun for the American people when our FBI director seems more interested in posting online as opposed to carrying out investigations that are incredibly important to carry out. And the latest investigation has to do with what federal authorities are referring to as a foiled plot.
The deputy director of the Secret Service just said that about the director of the FBI on camera. That's not a leak. That's not an anonymous source. That's a federal agency telling another federal agency's boss to shut up. So what did Kash Patel do to earn it? Oh, buddy. Buckle up.
Foiled plot, I'll get to that in just a second, but here's how Kash Patel potentially hurt the investigation. So federal authorities are alleging that they foiled this plot, which involved drones and snipers and all sorts of crazy stuff. It turns out that Patel failed to follow certain legal constraints, including the FBI's own disciplinary code, by prematurely disclosing details about the arrests and the investigation before it was allowed to happen. Now, there's a very real reason why these rules exist. It's an effort to not tip off other potential individuals that could be suspects, people who might get arrested. On social media, Patel posted details about the 5 arrests in this investigation that were carried out in conjunction with the Secret Service.
That's the whole story in one sentence. The guy running the FBI treats active federal cases like content. And this time it wasn't a nothing burger case. It was an alleged mass casualty plot at the White House.
Well, now we have breaking news from the FBI. The agency tells NBC News that it disrupted an alleged drone attack plot on that White House UFC event that took place over the weekend. More than 4,000 people were in attendance at this first of its kind event held on the president's 80th birthday. That includes, of course, the president. Vice President JD Vance was also there, and several cabinet members. A senior law enforcement official tells NBC News the plot was, quote, quite serious. NBC News senior justice reporter Ryan Riley joins us now with the latest. Ryan, good morning. First, just tell us what we know so far about this plot.
Yeah, we don't know a ton, and I think most interestingly is sort of how it came out. This was announced by Kash.
Quick fact check on that, because it's actually worse than it sounds. The case was sealed by a federal court. Roughly 10 more people were still being pursued when he hit post at 6:50 in the morning. One official literally told NBC, quote, "It's not great." Understatement of the year, my friend.
But the problem, as The Guardian reports, according to several law enforcement officials involved in the case, was that the investigation was still ongoing and agents were still actively searching for additional suspects at the time Patel shared his post. In fact, so 5 people were initially arrested, suspects. After Patel had posted about it prematurely, federal authorities were able to arrest 2 additional suspects. But the point is, the FBI director disclosing these details publicly could have made it harder to arrest the 2 additional suspects. So it subsequently emerged that the inquiry was sealed by a court order, theoretically constraining Patel from talking about it publicly, but he did it anyway. And there is a general prohibition against publicizing information related to sealed cases while the order remains in force under US federal law. So there are some exemptions, but those are very rare, and you need to get a formal court authorization in order to talk about.
So that's mainstream reporting, not us editorializing. Signal chats, drones, 5 arrests across multiple states. A genuinely serious case, which is exactly why you don't live tweet it like it's a UFC undercard.
A recent press release. Now, after Patel prematurely shared details publicly, Matt Quinn, who happens to be the deputy director of the Secret Service, said this to reporters, and obviously he's talking about Patel here. "I'll tell you a phrase I learned early in my career at the New York field office, and that's don't choke on your own smoke. The Secret Service led the investigation from the beginning. I'll tell you that case is ongoing. In order to maintain the integrity of the investigation and the security plan, we chose not to leak it." Now, Patel seems very much obsessed, Cenk, with getting kudos through his public social media posts. And that's a problem when that's more of a priority as opposed to maintaining the integrity of an investigation. It's a problem. And he's the FBI director. This guy's a nightmare. Like, what is he doing? But anyway, what do you think about this?
2 more suspects arrested after he blasted it out to the world. Imagine being those agents. You're mid-manhunt and your own boss just sent the suspects a push notification. Great job, Chief.
Developing now, the FBI says it foiled a plot to attack the White House during Sunday's UFC fight on the South Lawn. Jessica Moore's here now with what we're learning.
Well, Cindy, FBI Director Kash Patel says a signal chat revealed a plot trying to target the White House using explosive drones. Sunday night's spectacle on the South Lawn of the White House could have turned tragic, according to the FBI. Director Kash Patel posting on X 4 days before the UFC event, his agency became aware of a potential threat to the American.
We chose not to leak it. We, as in, unlike some people, federal agencies usually fight through anonymous sources and passive-aggressive memos. This was a public execution at a podium.
Our institutions, right? So for instance, after Charlie Kirk gets assassinated, remember how badly he bungled that, right? He comes out right out of the gate and he claims like, oh, well, we have a person of interest in custody. And so people think the suspect, the real suspect, is in custody. Hours later, they let the guy go. And people were like, what is he doing here? Like, what's going on? And is he really on top of things?
Serious plot, serious investigation, serious agencies, and one guy treating it like a personal brand launch.
On that one, since there's a lot of questions about that case, I wonder if he did that one on purpose.
Who knows? Who knows? He also did the same thing with the deadly shooting at Brown University in December, in which 2 people were killed and 9 were injured. So an hour and a half after announcing that a suspect was being held for Kirk's murder, Patel was forced to reverse himself by posting that the man had been released after interrogation. He was also condemned for posting photographic evidence of a shooting at an immigration and customs enforcement facility in Dallas last year. Like, it's not like he's made one mistake and people are like jumping down his throat. No, he keeps bungling things and disclosing information that he is not supposed to disclose to the public yet.
September 2025, Charlie Kirk is assassinated. The country is on edge and Patel tweets that the subject is in custody. 90 minutes later, released. Wrong guy. The actual suspect was still out there for another day and a half.
Obsessed with this, and it's not just about being on X. You remember the story about the tiny FBI jacket that he waited for so long?
Oh my God.
And they finally had to give him a female FBI jacket because he wanted to look like a tough guy coming out with the FBI in the back of the jacket. Like, bro, go do your job. Go do your job. Nobody cares what jacket you're wearing, okay?
It reminds me of Kristi Noem. Like, she loved cosplaying. Like, they love to dress up, you know? They love to do the theater and everything.
Not a mistake. He told the Senate it wasn't a mistake. My guy, the entire country reported an arrest that didn't happen because of your thumbs. Take the L.
But when you do it at the White House, it feels like idiocracy, man. Like, I mean, almost literally out of that movie.
Look, we have such huge problems in this country that like it was so low on my list of priorities.
Yeah,
to talk
that's
about
why
on
I
the
never
show.
mentioned it.
Yeah, so like I'm not really obsessing about it at all, but I will say this. There's something really trashy about the way our government comes across to the people of this country and to the international community. And I'd like to be less trashy.
Kirk, Brown, Dallas. Now the White House plot, at some point it stops being a blooper reel and starts being a job description. The vice president on Fox saying the plot his own FBI director called Stop Cold was not that advanced. They weren't even in town. So which is it, fellas? Heroic multi-state takedown or a group chat that never left the group chat? Pick a story. Stopped cold. Posted with a screenshot of a Fox News story. That was sourced to his own statement. He broke the news to himself, about himself, citing himself. That's a content loop, not law enforcement. Translation, tokens. Name. We did the work. Notice how every agency involved is suddenly very specific about who led what. That's what it looks like when nobody wants to share a foxhole with you. Furious. 3 separate sources about their partner agency's own director. Let that sink in. The jacket thing is funny until you remember it's the same instinct as the tweets. It's all costume. The job is the part he's least interested in, and that's the real cost. Not one bad tweet, a pattern that makes every future FBI announcement a coin flip. When the Secret Service is publicly telling your FBI director not to choke on his own smoke, the smoke is the institution's credibility, and it's already in his lungs. So here's my question for you. If any regular agent leaked a sealed case, they'd be fired by lunch. So why is the standard lower at the top? Drop your answer in the comments, and if you want the receipts on the next blunder, and there will be one, subscribe and ring the bell. See you in the next one.